What happened to Teresa Halbach on that fateful day of October 31st, 2005? This question has left an indelible mark on the annals of true crime, a mystery that continues to baffle and intrigue. Teresa Halbach, a vivacious 25-year-old freelance photographer, started her day just like any other. Her life was characterized by an infectious enthusiasm for her work, a passion that led her to the doors of Auto Trader magazine. With a camera in hand and a smile on her face, Teresa was known for capturing the essence of the automobile she photographed, leaving a lasting impression on those she worked with. On the day of her disappearance, Teresa had appointments lined up, one of them at Avery's Auto Salvage Yard. This family-run business was nestled in the heart of Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, a place known more for its tranquility than for the darkness that was about to unfold. Teresa had been there numerous times before, clicking photos of the cars, engaging in small talk with the Avery family, and leaving behind a trail of her lively spirit. However, October 31st, 2005 was different. The vibrant young woman arrived at the salvage yard, completed her work, and then she simply vanished. Despite the numerous people she interacted with daily, nobody had any inkling about what happened to Teresa after she left the Avery's yard. Her calls went unanswered, her car was nowhere to be found, and her usual cheerful self was noticeably absent. The alarm bells started ringing, but by then it was already too late. The Avery's Auto Salvage Yard, which was once just a mundane part of Teresa's work routine, became the focal point of a chilling investigation. It was the last known location where Teresa was seen alive, marking the beginning of a tale that was about to take a sinister turn. After that day, Teresa Halbach was never seen again. Her disappearance left a void, not just in the lives of her loved ones, but also in the heart of a community that was about to be thrown into a whirlwind of suspicion, fear, and uncertainty. The disappearance of Teresa Halbach sparked a massive investigation. This wasn't your run-of-the-mill missing person case. The stakes were high, and the urgency palpable. The local police department sprang into action, combing through every inch of Halbach's life, searching for clues that might lead them to her whereabouts. In the early stages of the investigation, the trail seemed cold, but then a breakthrough. Teresa's car, a Ray V4, was found concealed on the sprawling Avery property. This wasn't a random location. The Avery family was well known in the area, and one member, Stephen Avery, had a particularly controversial history with law enforcement. With the discovery of the RAV4, the investigation took a sharp turn. The Avery property became the focal point of the search. An exhaustive, meticulous search of the 40-acre salvage yard was conducted. The police left no stone unturned, no car unsearched, and what they uncovered next was chilling. Among the rusted car bodies and discarded scrap, investigators discovered the charred remains of Teresa Halbach. The grim discovery, while providing a tragic answer to Teresa's whereabouts, raised a multitude of other questions. Who was responsible, and why? The answers to those questions seemed to fall into place when Stephen Avery and his nephew, Brendan Dassey, were arrested. Avery, who had been wrongfully convicted of a different crime years earlier, was once again in the crosshairs of the justice system. Dassey, a teenager with learning difficulties, was also implicated in the grim events. So there it was. Two suspects, a gruesome crime scene, and a community in shock. The police believed they had their culprits, and the public breathed a collective sigh of relief. But as we'll soon discover, this case was anything but straightforward. The twists and turns of this investigation would continue to baffle and divide opinion. But the case was far from closed. As the prosecution prepared its case against Avery and Dassey, the defense teams were gearing up for a fight. The courtroom drama that unfolded would captivate the nation and raise serious questions about the justice system itself. But that's a story for another scene. Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey were put on trial for a crime that many believe they did not commit. This was a trial that would grip the nation, a trial where the stakes couldn't be higher. The courtroom was a battleground, with the prosecution presenting what they argued was undeniable evidence of Avery and Dassey's guilt. They pointed to Teresa's car found on Avery's property, her blood in the car, and Avery's blood found in several places inside it. They highlighted the remnants of Teresa's phone and camera, discovered in Avery's burn barrel, and most damningly, they presented Teresa's charred bone fragments found in a burn pit near Avery's home. But the defense had a different story to tell. They argued that Avery was framed, a pawn in an elaborate scheme to protect the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department from a hefty lawsuit that Avery had filed against them. They questioned the integrity of the evidence, suggesting it had been planted, and they highlighted the lack of Teresa's DNA in Avery's home. And then there was Brendan Dassey's confession, a controversial element of the case that still sparks debates today. A young man with learning difficulties, Brendan confessed to aiding Avery in the murder, but his defense argued that this confession was coerced, extracted from a vulnerable teenager through manipulative interrogation techniques. In spite of the defense's efforts, the jury found both Avery and Dassey guilty. Avery was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, while Dassey, still a teenager, received life with the possibility of parole after 40 years. Despite the convictions, many questions remained unanswered. The trial may have ended, but the controversy surrounding the case was far from over. The debate would continue, with many still believing in Avery and Dassey's innocence. If you're finding this tale as chilling as we do, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our strangely mysterious channel. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the aftermath and the ongoing controversy of this captivating case. The trial was over, but the story of Teresa Halbach's murder was just beginning. As the gavel fell, the public was left divided. Many were convinced of Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey's guilt, while others believed they had been wronged by the justice system. This division was only fueled by the release of the Netflix documentary, Making a Murderer. This series presented an alternate narrative, suggesting that Avery and Dassey were framed for Halbach's murder. The documentary sparked a global conversation. Its portrayal of the investigation and trial led many to question the integrity of the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department and the validity of the convictions. As a result, Avery and Dassey became figures of a wider debate on the failings of the criminal justice system. But the controversy didn't stop there. Since the original trial, there have been numerous appeals and legal battles, each adding another layer to the complex narrative surrounding Teresa Halbach's murder. Avery's lawyers have tirelessly petitioned for a new trial, citing new evidence and alleged constitutional violations. Meanwhile, Dassey's legal team has fought for his release, arguing that his confession was coerced. Despite these efforts, both Avery and Dassey remain behind bars. Their appeals have been met with resistance, and their requests for retrials have been denied, leaving their supporters frustrated and their critics vindicated. In the midst of this controversy, it's easy to forget the woman at the center of it all. Teresa Halbach, a young photographer whose life was tragically cut short. Her murder remains a contentious issue, with many unanswered questions and disputed facts. Some argue that the focus on Avery and Dassey's innocence distracts from the search for the truth about Teresa's murder. Yet the fervor surrounding this case is a testament to our collective desire for justice. It's a reminder of the ongoing struggle to balance the scales, to ensure that the guilty are punished and the innocent are freed. To this day, the murder of Teresa Halbach remains a contentious and unsolved mystery. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our strangely mysterious channel if you're enjoying this deep dive into the Teresa Halbach case. Despite all the attention, the case of Teresa Halbach is filled with unanswered questions. It's a labyrinth of mystery and speculation that has left us all at a crossroads of understanding. The story goes far beyond the surface, and we're left navigating through murky waters of doubt and uncertainty. One of the most prominent questions that persist revolves around the possibility of planted evidence. Many have speculated that key pieces of evidence were strategically placed to point the finger at one individual. The infamous car key found in Stephen Avery's bedroom, the vehicle found on the Avery property, the bone fragments in the burn pit, all seem too conveniently located. But who would have the motive to manipulate the evidence in such a way? This brings us to the role of the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department. Their involvement in the case has been a point of contention from the onset. The department was facing a massive lawsuit from Stephen Avery at the time of Halbach's disappearance. This fact alone has led many to question if they had a vested interest in ensuring Avery's conviction. But would a whole department risk their integrity to secure a guilty verdict? Then there's the potential involvement of other suspects. Several individuals were in the vicinity on the day of Halbach's disappearance, yet their alibis were not thoroughly scrutinized as Avery's. Could there be another person lurking in the shadows responsible for this heinous crime? The case of Teresa Halbach is a complex web of unanswered questions, and we may never have all the answers. But one thing is certain, the pursuit of truth should never cease. If you're as intrigued as we are, please like and subscribe to our strangely mysterious channel for more unsolved mysteries. Will we ever truly know what happened to Teresa Halbach? The question lingers, echoing in the halls of justice, a chilling reminder of the mysteries that continue to haunt us. We upload every Friday. Next Friday, join Jay as he hosts the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle.